Wow. Okay. So, I guess people are really interested in learning about Antifa because I thought my video was going to get like my usual 400 views. And we're sitting at over 700,000 at this point in just a few days. And I have gotten 39,000 new subscribers on the week of my 39th birthday. Way better than these guys. Honestly, I have worked really hard to get to this point, and so even though it's nice having a little bit of gold in the background, which we're going to work on shelves, just to prove that, hey, I came, I saw, I won the door prize, so if you think I don't know what I'm talking about, just check it out. I will say that making it on YouTube has been way more of an award than going to something where I paid a lot of money for a dinner that didn't even really taste that good and wine that gave me a raging headache the next day. It's been years of hard work, so I want to first say I really, really appreciate everybody sharing the video, commenting on the video, liking or disliking the video because it really helped the analytics. YouTube mysteriously decided to monetize it after demonetizing it. So that's great, and that's probably why it's been ending up on home pages and it's been getting the traction that it has, which just goes to show that YouTube not censoring things makes a very big difference in getting the information out there, and you're a part of that. When people engage in the content, it does really make a difference. So thanks for that. There were people who were asking how they could support my work without becoming a monthly patron, and so I did create a PayPal link that's in the description of the video if you just want to do a one-time give. I appreciate everything. Some people have apologized for giving $1. Please do not apologize. The fact that anyone would give me $1 to talk on YouTube is actually really humbling, and I'm really grateful for it. So thank you. Even the littlest bit counts and really helps me to continue producing this content. All right, so let's get started with this first comment. Thought it was a awakening with JP and is why I clicked on what JP would look like if he was a girl. That dude is super funny, so I feel highly complimented that you would put me in his circle. I did, however, have longer hair in the Antifa video, which is probably what you noticed, and as you may tell right now, I have cut my hair. I decided to do that because, honestly, I'm a pretty low-maintenance person, and I hadn't had a haircut in a year and a half, and I felt like it was time. So I'm changing things up now that the channel is sort of going forward. I hope you like the new hairstyle. If you don't, well, it'll grow back in probably another year, so that just means you have to stick with the channel for a year. Another thing, as an order of business besides the hair, brings me to my next comment. What is that clicking audio sound? I hate it and almost can't watch the video because of it. Well, that is the electric fence for the horse pasture outside our house. We have 2 horses, and I really did not think it was that noticeable, so I didn't go out and turn off the electric fence, but in the future, just like during this video, I will turn off the electric fence so as not to drive everybody insane, and you may continue watching the video in peace. You can't be a member of Antifa. It literally just means anti-fascist. Hopefully you are also Antifa. I think there is an organizational structure to Antifa, but it also isn't like being a member of Costco, where you go in and have a picture put on a card and then you have to sign out when you leave with your groceries. It's definitely a mindset or an ideology. That's true. And I would say, as this person references, hopefully we are all anti-fascist. The problem is, as I pointed out in the video, that what anti-fascist means does not necessarily mean you are Mussolini if we oppose you. That Antifa has other ideologies that are part of what anti-fascist means, such as anti-capitalism, and so it's important to understand the nuances of that. You are providing these people with free publicity, which is what they want, so they can advertise their grievances in public and have a larger audience. If you and other reporters would stop the coverage, they may decide it's not worth the trouble and go home. You are not providing an essential public service by reporting on these people. It's not a story worth covering. Honestly, I used to think the same thing and actually told my managers on a couple occasions that I questioned what we were doing by giving these riots publicity every year, because honestly, I felt like our lives were put at risk and a lot of the people hated our guts, and we would walk for miles on end with no end in sight, no planned route, and I was verbally attacked. Some of my friends were physically attacked, but I realized now that it was important for the city to see what was going on, and that especially now that this has ended up as a national conversation, it's even more important that people who are very far away from some of the places where this has happened have a better understanding of what it's like. I appreciate your personal experiences of covering events, but are you serious calling Andy Ngo an independent journalist? I mean by independent that Andy Ngo does not work for any particular outlet full time, that he is independent of being financed by a mainstream media corporation like I used to be. This hot yoga teacher makes a lot of good points. I will be subscribing to her newsletter. Okay. Well, thank you. First off, I do yoga, but I don't teach it. And this is a YouTube channel, not a newsletter. But hey, if y'all think I should start a newsletter, then let me know, because I'm totally game to try new things. I thought DOJ already categorized them as domestic terrorists. Well, I looked this up and I found a statement from the United States Department of Justice dated May 31st, 2020, and the last line is, "The violence instigated and carried out by Antifa and other similar groups in connection with the rioting is domestic terrorism and will be treated accordingly." I'm not going to address this entire statement, but I will read a couple sentences from it. "The bias shown by this reporter is obvious. She doesn't think people have a right to resist injustice or white supremacists who have been killing them. Let the Nazis take over America." I literally never said in this video that you do not have the right to resist injustice or white supremacists. In fact, I'm pretty sure I referenced white supremacists at the end of that video, and all I did was talk about the experience I have with people who are out, in some cases, against capitalism with no fascist group present, causing extreme destruction. Antifa is not a threat to anyone. They are a bunch of heroin junkie kids who gather in numbers and beat up teenagers and old people. The people who choose to use violence can be very destructive and really hurt people. And so I do think that while some people may make the threat of Antifa sound far greater than it is, that there are also a lot of people who minimize it. And as with a lot of things, I think the truth is somewhere in the middle. Thanks for your post. I'm always looking for unbiased reporting that is so difficult to find. Well, I appreciate it. I do try hard, and if you ever notice something that you want to call me out on, do it in the comments. I do try to read through them, and I do appreciate learning. Back when I was in TV, when someone would call and say, "Hey, you didn't include this point," I would just do another story, and I'm happy to do that kind of stuff instead of just a tiny little editor's note. I know that annoys people, and I can understand why. So I'm happy to do other videos as we learn more information, and I'm happy to hear what you have to say. I don't want this channel to just be like unilaterally on one side and I'm pandering to a certain political viewpoint. I hope it's a place where we can have dialogue and conversation and learn from each other. This needs like 600% more views. Hell yeah, let's make that happen. Give us your take and then ask for shares, subscriptions, etc. I don't know if I like or agree with you yet. Well, this is exactly the problem that I've tried to get out there in some of my videos, that I don't understand why we just have to talk to people or listen to people who agree with us. This is exactly what I think is like the cancer of dialogue in our country right now. And I do think the media has played a part in that, but we're also responsible for our disinterest in having conversations where we actually listen and talk with people who are different. So I subscribe to a lot of channels with people I don't unilaterally agree with, and I really enjoy listening to them because it informs my viewpoint on how I see the world. And it actually keeps me a lot more sane and less emotional because reality is often very complex. And I enjoy thinking through complexity. I enjoy contrarian perspectives and I enjoy learning. So I hope that you don't subscribe to this channel just because you think you're going to agree with everything that I say. I hope you subscribe because you're willing to learn and be part of a community that wants to be engaged in politics and history and culture, but from a place of honest curiosity and not just monolithic ideology where you're hoping to have your own ideas just flamed every day. It is funny, but you are noticeably from Antifa, country girl. I see the fear in your heart and you are so easy on them because you seem afraid of them. You talk like someone who has witnessed a crime and is afraid to talk to the cops for fear of retaliation. I am not afraid. I will just flat out say that. I'm more afraid of the spotlight, honestly, that I've gotten on my channel and the videos, because it's just totally jarring to go from 4,000 subscribers to almost 50,000 subscribers in just a couple of days, and it's kind of like getting off a roller coaster. That has been way more sort of like mind-boggling than anything that I would worry about with retaliation. So I'm not scared. I'm nuanced, and I hate that you think that if someone's nuanced, they're scared in today's world. I don't want to just come out there and fan the flames. In fact, I could have grown this channel a lot faster if I had done that. But I don't want to be that person. I want to be true to my values and my authenticity. And so I'm going to keep being me. And I hope you keep being you and that we keep being us together. You were part of the fake news. Okay, well, it's not the first time I've heard that, but there are people working in the news business who are trying to do their best, and I was one of them, and I still have a lot of friends in that structure who are doing their best, which is why I say a lot in my videos, if you want to become a better consumer of news, do it by individual journalists, not by brand, because there are some brands that have great journalists and terrible journalists. And so I go by their reporting, not by who they work for. This is your thing, Allison, and you should look forward to continued growth. I watched a couple of your earlier videos too, and they are good, but these are who you are, and this is what folks respond to. Well, I really appreciate that. It took me a couple of years really to get to the point where I kind of figured out what would work and what I could offer YouTube that was new and different and something that adds value, frankly, because I just don't want to be another talking head. I started out doing clean living stuff because I was really interested in that, you know, getting chemicals out of my house and eating better and taking better care of my family. And then I transitioned that into our AIRSTREAM renovation because, as you may know, we're moving towards an off-gridish lifestyle and we're going to live in an AIRSTREAM while we build a family homestead. But that renovation came to a halt because of winter, and also we had a kid, and so I had to think of something to do for the channel, and I figured this is easy enough. I know this way better than AIRSTREAM renovation, and it's a lot easier to do with a newborn, so I'm planning to split my channel, and I will have more information on that in a video to come. I don't know anything about you, but it appears you are a true journalist and you aren't making videos with some hidden political agenda. This is refreshing. Keep doing what you're doing. Thanks. Subscribed. I have had people both call me a communist and a Trump supporter, which again, I actually find quite refreshing because I appreciate that I'm not easily boxed, and I hope to continue being that way. I do you. Awkward. Yeah. And my husband just bought me flowers. Thank you. It's my birthday, I can cry if I want to. But I'm not going to cry, or if I do, I'm going to cry tears of joy. So anyway, thanks again, everybody. I would love to hear from you in the comments. Don't forget to like or dislike and subscribe. I don't know if you'll subscribe if you disliked it, but if you do, I really do appreciate you either way. And I will see you next time.